Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Master Shah Dow Center here in London. My name is Hina, and welcome to our Wednesday evening Facebook Live show. So, thank you to everyone who's watching, and thank you to our loyal weekly watchers. Thank you to all the ones that share these Facebook Lives. And so today we are on a very interesting topic. We are going to speak about open spiritual channels. And open spiritual channels basically means just like how on a radio station or like TV, if you have an open channel, you can hear from someone else on the other end of that channel or TV station or whichever way the connection's made. So open spiritual channels basically means that you have an open connection to the spiritual world. And Dr. and Master Jigong Shah is very unique in that not only does he have super wide open channels that he speaks to the spiritual world all the time, he's in constant communication with it, but his teachings, wisdom, techniques are so unique that not only he has super wide open channels, but he teaches us how to have open spiritual channels of our own. So Master Shah, when he first started teaching this, there was a select group of students, a lot fewer than there are currently, and he would directly train them. So some of the older teachers, they have stories about how almost every single day Master Shah would be on the phone. They would have teleconferences where Master Shah would train them directly on how to open their channels, develop their channels. And the wider their channels were and are, the more accurate information comes through. Now, getting information from the soul world or the spiritual world is absolutely amazing. And in today's world, it is very much needed to navigate through all the complications of life. And luckily, Master Shah's student base has grown so wide that now he also has a 3 semester course where these same teachers who were getting directly guided by him are now teaching rest of us how to open our channels. So I have a very special guest today. Her name's Jaimini Patel, and she lives right here in London. So Jaimini, please come on. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Hina. Nice to be here.
Well, it's nice to have you. And thank you for everyone watching. Thank you, Lucy. You're so loyal. Lucy's here every single Wednesday. Daria and everyone else watching, thank you. So, Jaimini, you and I are actually in the same small Tao Soul communicator
We
class.
are, yes.
And, and one thing that I have to say about Jaimini is that when it's her turn to do soul communication, the connection she has with her guides who she chooses to speak through or who she decides to communicate with to allow them to speak through her is super strong. And I am always amazed at how clear and deep her messages are. So, Jaimini, tell us a little bit about your journey. Tell us the first Open Spiritual Channels workshop you went to here in London. I think it was our same first one.
Yeah, we were
Tell us about
together. We were together. So because I joined the Master Shah Center in 2019. That's when I first came to the center in January with my husband. And we started on our journey together, really interested in everything that was taught. All of Master Shah's teaching made so much sense to me. Because my ultimate goal was to always know the truth, really just one truth, and everything Master Shah teaches resonates with me in that area. It's just the truth for me and my husband, and so we completed our Tao Hands training, I think, together, and then we attended our first open soul communication course together. And you were there, I believe. And that was a real eye opener because before I came to the Master Shah Center, I had no idea really about spirituality in this way. about open channels, how to communicate. I thought that was for special people. Certain people could do it, not all of us. So it was wow, and I was taken back and very scared. So I think the fear set in straight away for me that I cannot do this, or I won't be able to um, channel any information from anywhere or communicate with any souls. So that was very scary for me. But the OSC course, I'll call it the OSC course, retreat, was wonderful because we were sort of given almost like instructions, directions of how to do this from the master teachers. I believe David was one of the master teachers on that day, on that retreat, sorry. And it was amazing that there were so many different ways that you could communicate with souls, with the divine, the Tao, the source, with saints. It was just, wow, I can communicate with anybody, and that was like a whole new language, a whole new world, and whole new way of communicating, which I found fascinating, and received lots of lovely treasures to help us along the way. And it was my first wow moment that, you could actually communicate, and it was easy. Not easy in the sense that it just came to me easily, but the process was so beautifully put together that anybody could do it at different stages, I believe. So we're all different, and we all take time to open our channels. I am still working on this, as we all are, and but I'm really enjoying where I am now. What year are we in now? 2021. I mean, I would say nearly 3 years I'll be at the. I would have come to the Master Shah Center, and in those 3 years, some of it has been very slow for me, where I've always sat in the background. I've never wanted to really share or contribute when it comes to anything to do with open spiritual channels, just out of fear, I think. But being on that course and then moving forward and being on the Tao Cell Communicator course for 3 semesters, I would say 3. Yes, we're nearly finished. Wow. That was amazing because we were in small groups, we got to practice, and slowly, my fear disappeared. And I got to practice a lot more. And only now, in the last semester, I've really started to trust myself more and trust that I can also flow. I also can serve others. And through the time, I have served with my Tao hands, friends, family, loved ones. But now I feel more confident to serve with giving messages to family and myself. I recently had a pain in my arm, which I'm still recovering from, but I did a flow for the pain in my arm using all the skills and techniques that we have been taught. And it was wonderful because I had an answer which made sense to me, which I can move forward with. So it's almost like you're given support throughout your life, not just to help yourself, but to help others. And as my confidence grows and we move forward, I'd like to do a lot more of that.
Yeah, that's so amazing. I totally agree with that sentiment that opening your spiritual channels, when you can communicate with your guides, with your spiritual fathers and mothers, with God, with Mother Earth, you can basically communicate with anyone or anything on a soul level according to Master Sha's teachings. With one of the basic foundational teachings is that everyone and everything has a soul. So if you like to commune with nature, you can commune with nature. If you believe in a saint, if you believe in even you can communicate with other human beings' souls on a soul level,
Mm.
with books. So it's just amazing that it really is limitless possibilities to where you can use and develop this skill. And it really is like a support because, like Jiminy was saying, when she's going through a challenge, she can tune in and figure
Mm.
out an answer, an effective answer So, Jiminy, can you give us an example? You mentioned about your how you communicated about the pain associated with your hand or arm.
Mhm.
How do you help? How does your open spiritual channels help when you're dealing with your family or friends?
With my family and friends, I have two sons. Both of my boys are now at university, first year and second year. So I always have fears that are they going to be okay? You know, will they be okay at university? So I do flows for the boys just to make sure that they are safe. And the answers I receive are so comforting, so comforting to know that they will be fine. Or if there's anything I could do for them, like recently I did a flow for one of my sons, and the guidance I received was to bring them both into love, peace, harmony chanting with me, because I felt that the two of them weren't communicating with each other as much as I felt that would benefit them. So that was the guidance I received. So I bring them both into my chanting, do forgiveness with the two of them, myself, and it's really amazing. I've sort of seen them become closer over the time. And so, really, it's just a trust in what I received. It is a gift, a blessing, and to act on it, because you can receive many messages and not act on them. And I am guilty of that too, many times. But now, more and more, I act on what I receive. And
I
it serves me. It serves my family, my friends. Um, it's wonderful. It's magical almost, and almost like unreal.
it is magical, isn't it? Because who would have thought growing up that, you know what, I can actually get a conversation with Albert Einstein
Mm.
or you potentially it can with the techniques in safe ways you can actually get into communication with basically any being out there. And this is one thing I have noticed with you also, and the same thing with me,
Mhm.
is that as we go through the different semesters, and each is a progressive step one on top of another, the trust is definitely a lot more solid.
Mm.
And I think both of us, just like how you say you can trust the messages more, you understand more, and you can really see it impacting your life in every aspect with your sons, with your husband, and just and with dealing with your own different challenges that come up, or like when you were worried or concerned about your sons. So that's amazing. Can you tell me, can you imagine your life before open spiritual channels versus after? Can you tell us what differences have you noticed, or um, give us a general like what do you think your life would be if you didn't have open spiritual channels?
First of all, I cannot imagine my life now without being being with Master Shah. That's the first thing I would say, because I was thinking that the other day that wow, life was so different, and I would search for answers in so many different places for the questions that I now ask myself or the master teachers. And yep, before open spiritual channels, you go seeking for. I went seeking answers everywhere and anywhere. And you never know whether what you're receiving is the truth, or you sometimes pay a lot of money for these experiences, and you walk away thinking, I wasn't in control of what came out of that person's mouth or what the advice they gave me. And some of it has been good, but being on this path, having now opening my channels more and more, I feel more in control of my own destiny, my own life, and almost like it's not somebody else's fault. What happens in your life, I am in control, the good and the bad. You know, if my arm's hurting, I'm in pain, I can't blame somebody else, where I would have said, oh, this is because of this, I'm in pain because of this person stressed me, or it's not like that. I know that everything that comes to me now, the good and the bad, is my own doing. And using your channels specifically, you can ask simplest of questions. Why am I feeling like this? Why is my arm hurting? Why is my knee hurting? Why am I feeling emotional? So there are questions, and then there are answers, and it's unconditional. That's what is so beautiful about this. That divine beings, the answers they give, it's unconditional. No matter what you ask, it's unconditional love for you. And where else can you get that? Where else can you get that from such a beautiful high frequency? A human being is like me. We're all operating on the same level, most of us, and the trust may not always be there, because we're all the same. We're all learning. We've all got deficiencies and blockages. But in this way, you can ask divine beings that have such a much higher frequency than I ever will have. I shouldn't say that, sorry, than I have. And the trust is there, because, as I said, it's unconditional. And we now have a way of communicating with them. And yeah, I cannot imagine my life without. If I woke up tomorrow and somebody says you haven't ever been to the center, you have no channels, I'll have to wonder, what? Are you sure? What's happened? Something's missing. Something's been taken away from me. So that's what it is. It would be a loss. It would be a real loss for me. So that's how much of a contrast there would be with having them and not having them. And I only realize that now I'm speaking to you. So just saying this made me realize that, which is quite profound.
And that must be why the question came to me to ask you that. See how much life is so different with open spiritual channels for both of us. So thank you, Jiminy. Thank you so much. Truly appreciate your time, appreciate your sentiment, appreciate your realizations, because what Jiminy said is very, very true for pretty much all of us. Number one, I don't think any of us can imagine not being a student of Dr. and Master Jigong Shah. And number two, none of us can imagine not having open channels, because we are so accustomed to being in this beautiful space that Master Shah has created for us. He's created a beautiful Tao calligraphy healing field where a lot of the blockages that block our channels are cleared. So our channels just being in this field automatically open up. Master Shah has also provided transmissions, which pretty much, as if we choose to receive them, immediately do a certain percentage of clearing of our channels. And once you get a taste of that pair, a taste of having even a little bit of open channels compared to before, where you feel the truth, where you get messages from higher beings and you feel their love, you feel their truth, and there is a lot of healing that comes in their messages from God, divine saints, Mother Earth, whoever you believe in. There is no way anyone really would want to go back, because it is such a precious and profound thing to have open spiritual channels and to communicate with the soul world. So we are having an introduction to Open Spiritual Channels workshop tomorrow night. The link will be in the description. Please join us tomorrow night if you would like to know more. If you're new or if it's your first time, join us for this introductory complimentary night and taste the pair for yourself. The Master Shah Tao Center here in London is having our next Open Spiritual Channels workshop January 7th to the 9th. And our master teacher, one of the leaders here, often says that having this workshop in the beginning of the year is a great way to start the new year, because it really sets the tone for the rest of the year. So having it in early January is actually an immense blessing. And for everyone else who is on the line, if you're not quite ready to join us for a workshop or the introductory night, then I do urge you to get this book by Master Sha. It is called Soul Communication. And here you can, at your pace, you can read about the wisdom of soul communication that Master Sha has taught in this book. And there's also a lot of different practices, and there are a couple little downloads in here of treasures that you can download and just dip your feet if you'd like. But if you can join us tomorrow night, that would be a big, big, profound experience, especially if it's your first time. If you know anyone who's interested in communicating with the soul world or wants to open their channels even further in communicating with their guides in a more accurate and profound way, please join us. Please share this Facebook Live, and please join us tomorrow night. And we'll have a couple more complimentary nights till rest of the year. And please, you can find out more information on our website. So I thank all of you today for watching. I thank all of you for sharing and commenting. Thank you, Jose. Thank you, Jamie, for coming on. And I will see all of you next Wednesday. Goodbye.